Well, good morning. Good to see y'all this morning. One of my favorite shows, Man vs. Wild. Anybody watch Man vs. Wild? Any fans out there? Yeah, I love the show. What they do is they take the star of the show, and then they parachute him into the most hostile places on planet Earth. And he goes there on purpose. And his whole goal is to not just survive, but to find his way out and back to safety. And then while he's doing that, we're learning things along the way. And as I watch that show, I realize that, finding a water source, very important. Creating shelter, very important. A sense of direction, very, very important. And you've got to find food to eat, right? You got to find food. Because if you don't find proper food sources, what happens is you don't have the calories, you don't have the energy, you can't do everything you need to do to get out, and eventually you'll just die. And so he kind of goes through this thing every episode where he's discovering things to eat in the most hostile places on earth. And he puts things in his mouth I would never put in mine. You know what I'm saying? Okay, remember the Fear Factor show? I could handle it all except the stuff they made you eat. And of course, if you're going to do that, you have to know what is good food and what is bad food, right? What will make you healthy and what will make you sick or kill you. Food identification is huge. So, as part of a public service announcement here at Connections this morning, I thought that all of us could go through a little food verification quiz. And if you and I somehow find ourselves lost in the middle of the American wilderness, would we be able to identify what we could eat, because it would be good, and what if we ate, it would make us sick or kill us? Okay? So let's just kind of see how we do. Like, for instance, if you came across a stink currant and a twin blackberry, which of those two would be good to eat? If you think it's a stink currant, raise your hand. Hands down. If you think it's a twin blackberry, raise your hand. Hands down. The answer is, it's the stink currant. Yeah, because if you ate the twin blackberry, what would happen is you would first get indigestion, and then the nausea would get severe, and then you would have uncontrollable vomiting and diarrhea, which is a blast when you're in the wilderness. It's a blast. Okay? All right, how about between these two right here? Barberries and red nightshade. How many would say barberries? That's what I'm eating right there, barberries. How many would say red nightshade? That's what I'm eating right there. You see, some of you are going, nope, not going anymore. Just going hungry. Okay, the answer is barberries. That's what you want to eat. The red nightshade is actually toxic. It again disrupts the central nervous system. It causes an irregular heartbeat. It will cause a disruption in breathing and can make you dizzy. How about this one? Here's another berry. How about a yew-berry or a salmon berry? Which of those would you eat? How many would say, yew-berry's my food? I'm liking that. Makes me think of Christmas when I look at that. A yew-berry. Okay, hands down. How many say salmon berry? That's what I'm going with. Oh, a lot of salmonberry fans, huh? Well, the answer is, yeah, it's the salmonberry. That's what you want to eat. The yew-berry is actually the seeds inside of it that are very, very toxic. Again, nausea, diarrhea, just a lot of really unpleasant things that will happen if you eat that one. Okay, enough of berries. How about flowers? Do you eat flowers? Or at least some of them. Like, for instance, if you stumbled upon these two flowers, a marigold and an azalea, which of those would you eat and which should you not? How many say marigolds for me? I'm eating a marigold. Raise your hand. How many say azaleas for me? I'm eating the azalea. All right? The answer is, it's the marigold. And azalea is toxic. In fact, if you ingest a number of these azalea flowers, you will die. Okay? So when you go to the Masters, where the azaleas are blooming, don't eat them. Go to the concession stand, all right? Of course, mushrooms are everywhere in the wilderness, right? And we know you can eat mushrooms, but some not so much. All right, so how about this? The amanitin or the black trumpet? One of those good food, the other really bad food. How many go, amanitin for me? I'm going to eat that one. Anybody? Okay. I'm going to say black trumpet, that's the one for me. Okay, very good. The answer is, it's the black trumpet. Yeah, you know what? If you eat the amanitin, you are in for the time of your life. Because the first thing that will happen is you'll begin to hallucinate. And you will see things that are not there. And then it kicks your glands, your secretion glands in your body into overdrive, and you begin to tear, and you begin to sweat, and you begin to salivate uncontrollably. It just all goes wild. And then your heartbeat becomes irregular, and you have trouble taking a breath. It can actually put you in a coma. And if there are wild animals out there, then you are easy prey at that point. One last one. How about this? How about the coprine mushroom or the oyster mushroom? Which of those two would you find yourself partaking of right there? Anybody? How many say the coprine? That's the one for me. I'll eat that thing. All right. How many say oyster mushroom? Oyster sounds good food, right? That's for me. All right. Answer is, no, it's the oyster mushroom. I know they look nasty. But the coprine mushrooms actually have toxins in them that again cause indigestion, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, paralysis. It all becomes possible. Oh, so now just a visual representation. If we were left off in the woods, okay, we're dead. We're just pretty much never going to make it out. I mean, it makes sense. And what's weird is, they're all food. They're all berries and flowers and plants. They're all food. But some, as we know, it's good food, right? It's at least somewhat palatable. You can get it down. And its impact in the body is, nourishment. I'm stronger. I'm healthier. That's good. But the other's bad food, right? Unpalatable, really bad taste in the mouth. But then when it gets into the body, it makes us sick and possibly can even kill us. Now, here's what's fascinating, folks. Fascinating. Words are like food. Words are like food. Just as there are good foods and bad foods, there are good words and bad words. Good things we say, bad things we say. Good words have a tendency to be palatable. They feel right when they enter our ears and our minds. And as they settle in our souls, they nourish us. They make us stronger and healthier. But there are also bad words, bad things that people say. And those bad words are very bitter when we hear them, and they're hard to take. And when they settle in our souls, they actually make us sick, dysfunctional. They break us down. They hurt us. Just like plants and berries are to the body, words are to the soul. Words are like food. Do you remember when Jesus was being tempted in the desert by the devil for 40 days? Remember that story? It was like very early on in the life of Jesus. Right after he was baptized and announced as the Messiah, the one who promised from God who would rescue us from the mess we're in. He was driven into the wilderness where he was tempted by the devil. And at the end of those days, the biggest temptations came. And remember, he hadn't eaten for 40 days. And Satan came to him and said, why don't you, since you're the Son of God, didn't do anything. Why don't you command that these stones are turned into bread? You can have something to eat. And you remember how Jesus replied to that? He said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of God.